But to start the show, we're joined by our good friend Marcus Michles. And Marcus, good Saturday morning. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
We're fantastic. So are you off the IR yet, or how's that coming along?
Yeah, I'm out of the boot. I'm starting to walk a little bit, starting to train a little bit. I think I'll be running in a week or two.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, Marcus, let's talk what happened in the National Football League this week. And I guess the big news this week was Trent Richardson trying to revitalize his career here. He signs with the Oakland Raiders. Just your thoughts with Trent picking the Raiders?
Well, I think it's a risky pick, but I don't think he had a lot of options. I mean, there's not a lot of talent on that Raiders team. There's not a lot of organization to fall back on. It's going to be a work in progress and probably a very difficult experience. But I'm not sure that Trent had a lot of options and a lot of opportunities to choose from. I think he's probably feeling grateful that he's got an opportunity to be the number one and to be on the field. And show what he's capable of. He's had a disappointing career thus far, some really difficult things to understand, that have gotten in the way of his success. So it's nice that he's getting a chance. It's not necessarily the ideal opportunity, but he's got a chance to make himself, successful.
Yeah, there's no Darren McFadden, who, of course, left to go to the Cowboys. Maurice Jones-Drew, of course, decided to give it up and retire. We'll probably see him in the broadcast booth a lot this upcoming year. But there is a kid named Latavius Murray who is pretty good, who had a Thursday night game last year, was outstanding. And when he had the opportunity, he shown flashes. He has a burst of speed. He's quick. So, Trent's – and there's George Atkinson III, as well, there as a running back. But I'm sure the Raiders are going to go after another running back. But I wouldn't say it's all said and done that, hey, Trent Richardson is the main back there for the Raiders.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. I think he's got a shot, but I agree with you too in that I believe the Raiders are going to they're going to go after a running back. This is supposed to be. I never really know how to rate these pundits about mock drafts, but everybody is saying that this is the strongest draft at the running back position in over 10 years. They think there may be as many as 15 to 20 running backs taken in the first 3 rounds. So, there's plenty of opportunity. I think the Raiders will pick a running back in the first or the second pick, and there'll be plenty of competition for Trent Richardson.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit for Trent. Jack Del Rio's the head coach. Of course, he was the longtime coach here for Jacksonville. And then, what happened, surprisingly, at Denver, he was the defensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden he needs a job. But, Marcus, Oakland's a place where if you're good as a head coach, you're not going to go there unless you need a job.
No, Jack Del Rio, he's a very, very good defensive coordinator, and he's battled as a head coach. I give him high credit. He's never really had great talent, but he's not a first-tier coach. And for him to get a head coaching opportunity in Oakland was really the result of about a dozen people turning that job down, because that's an organization that's just in trouble. So, they got a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, but you know what? It's an opportunity to excel, too.
Maybe it will work out because Jack Del Rio trying to revitalize his head coaching career, and then you got Trent there as well. So it's going to be a wait-and-see process, on what Trent will do there with the Raiders. Let's switch to Hardy, going to the Dallas Cowboys here. Just your thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you, the overriding thought that I have is that once again we find the NFL on a very slippery slope. Greg Hardy, he's either the devil, or he's a guy that's been wrongfully accused, and he said, she said. I have no idea, but I do know this. He's been through the court system in North Carolina. There was a bench trial where the defense counsel don't get to ask any questions. They don't get to cross-examine witnesses. The woman victim came in and said that Greg Hardy threatened to kill her. Hey, if that's true, put him in jail. But that's a bench trial, and she awarded like 90 days probation and just some crazy thing. And so he had the right to appeal. He appealed the decision. Now he has a jury trial. Now his lawyers get to question witnesses. They get to question the evidence. And the accuser, the victim, doesn't show up, goes into hiding. The state has no evidence, and so the case is thrown out. And all that happened last year. It all happened over 12 months ago, in fact. The player's not been able to get on the field for a year, and now the NFL just filed a request in North Carolina to get some of the evidence so they can see it. Because now they're going to have their own internal investigation to determine how many days or weeks or months this player doesn't get to play football. It's like a secondary court system, and I just think it's a mess. I think it's wrong. So now the Cowboys, they signed the guy to a deal where he gets paid per game, and it's a no incentive or it's a high incentive deal. I mean, it's just a mess to try to figure out who's going to play football and why they can't. And next thing you know, you got this Adrian Peterson issue where the guy doesn't play for a whole year, where the court system's going to fine him a few dollars and pat him on the back and send him on his way. So I just think it's a slippery slope that the NFL's put themselves in. And I mean, who knows whether Greg Hardy is the devil or a good guy? I guess he knows, and his accuser knows, but the NFL sure as heck doesn't know.
Well, on the football field, he's going to help out the Dallas Cowboys, though, don't you think?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, he's obviously a talent. They've already got the mayor of Dallas criticizing the move. The fans are disgruntled because they lost to Marco Murray. And, you got Jason Garrett saying he wants quality character guys. Well, that just went out the window, right? That's just hypocrisy. But when you talk about helping, how much does he help if he gets a 6-game suspension? I mean, that's the league mandate now for domestic violence. Now, this issue happened before they passed that, but what are they going to do if they give him less than 6? How's that going to look for the NFL's new sensitivity program? If he misses 6 games, I mean, that's a lot of time. So now you got to get him back. You got to get him trained up. He's probably not going to be able to participate or work out during those 6 weeks. So what do you have? You got a guy coming back after a 6-week layoff. Maybe it's 8 weeks before he's 100%. You're half the way through the season, hoping you're going to get a defensive end to change the nature of your defense. I don't know. I'd pass on it personally. Not that he's not a great pass rusher, not that he's not a great football player, but he's not going to be playing much football for the next couple of months.
All right, the Vikings and Adrian Peterson, that's been a soap opera there, more than a soap opera. I see this week headlines, Vikings saying that they're not going to release Adrian Peterson. I think at the end of the day, he'll end up playing for the Vikings.
It looks that way because teams have spent their money. I mean, the problem with Adrian Peterson is he comes with a big paycheck, and teams have got to have an awful lot of cap space. If a deal was going to get made, I would think it would have been made already. I just don't think these teams have the space now to bring in a contract like that. And the Vikings don't want to lose him. Let's face it, Adrian Peterson is going to be, this next season, he's going to be a top 3 back. He's healthy, obviously, having a year off. The man is a machine with a football in his hand. I mean, he's a remarkable talent. He's a number 1 guy. He's in the prime of his career, and the Vikings are a pretty good football team. They want him. It's just that he's a little upset with the way they treated him.
Okay, Marcus, let's shift here to hockey in the NHL. Why don't you give us a couple of teams right now? We're going down to the last couple of weeks of the regular season. Everybody's battling here for a position to make the playoffs. It's a great time of the year. But why don't you throw out some teams here you think that right now that can make it to the Stanley Cup Finals?
Well, my number 1 pick right now are the New York Rangers, getting Lundqvist back. I mean, they played great hockey already. They're solid. Their lineup is deep. They've got good team speed. They've got all the pieces, and now they get the King back. I mean, if you're in the East, you're like, good grief, what timing! It gives him enough time to ease in. He had a pretty significant neck injury, hasn't played since January, but I mean, he's not called the King for no reason. He played great last year, carried the team to the finals. Certainly he wasn't the reason they didn't win the whole thing. I like the Rangers coming out of the East as the number 1. What do you think?
I see right now the New York Rangers. There's Montreal there, possibly, maybe Tampa. Of course, you know me, I'm pulling for the Penguins, but they haven't scored a whole lot lately, and they got a rookie coach. I don't know that they can do it. I was surprised with the Islanders this year because they're so deep, especially with Jack Capiano there, but I think that they're going to run out of gas. But you're right now, you ask me, I say the Rangers, and then who will they play in the finals? I can't go against either Chicago or the LA Kings.
Well, I've always liked Chicago. I like the way that team is constructed. I like the way they can spread scoring around. They're a 3-line team. But I'll give you a little wild card out of the West. I keep your eye on Anaheim. I mean, they're a young team. They can make things happen. They can win any game. They play on the road pretty well. They got 2 goaltenders. They can't even figure out who their number 1 is. I mean, they're just kind of an exciting little bunch. I wouldn't want to draw them if I was sitting in the West. I think people are kind of looking past them. But they're playing great hockey, and they believe in themselves, and they're a scary little hockey team right now.
I would love to see Anaheim in there, and selfish reasons being they got a young goaltender who's from the Pittsburgh area. That's why, homegrown from Pittsburgh.
John Gibson.
Yeah, and he started the season this year. He's been kind of in and out. They're still battling to see, who really is going to be, their goaltender to carry them in the playoffs. But I would think it would be awesome to see somebody that's homegrown, grown up in Pittsburgh, and make it in the Stanley Cup Finals if that happens.
Well, I'll tell you, I think everybody around the club is saying that he's going to steal that job from Frederik Andersen, and why not? I mean, his numbers are fantastic. He's played great in the playoffs. I mean, he's a talent and deserves the number 1. So watch out for Anaheim; they can scare some people.
All right, Marcus. Before we let you go, did you make any picks in the NCAA college basketball tournament here? Did you do a Final Four or finals or a championship team?
Yeah, I did. But you know what? I mean, I'm just a knucklehead with a pencil in my hand. I'm thinking North Carolina goes the distance. I'm just thinking they're going to surprise some folks. That's who I've got.
Well, they got Arkansas, so okay, North Carolina. Kentucky or against the rest of the field? I guess you took the rest of the field then, huh?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I just can't go with the obvious front runner. I mean, it's too easy. I can't live with myself if I do that.
Well, I'm hoping for the game that Kentucky does it, because the way that the game is now, I mean, it's not like it used to be, and I think that they need something, for the Final Four, and people saying, "Hey, can Kentucky do it? Can Kentucky do it?" But anyways, Marcus, hey, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks so much, and you enjoy the weekend, okay?